Mayor, what's the latest with the boil water advisory in the town of Collingwood?
Yeah, so our crews, which included, of course, staff and contractors, worked through the night and repaired the water main break. And then, of course, we've been continuing since this problem happened to get our, water to the back to the safest spot that we all expect it will have. Our water treatment plant wasn't affected. But when you have a water main break on a main line like we did, the water pressure goes down in the pipe and then it makes it susceptible to groundwater seeping in. So that was the issue.
And if I may ask, was weather a factor at all, or do we even know the cause of the water main break?
Well, we don't yet. I think there'll be a big, discussion of everybody once we have this crisis behind us and figure out what happened.
And I understand a big story, obviously, in Collingwood is the new water treatment plant, right? Again, does that have any effect in terms of causing the water main break, or again, is it still too early?
Well, no, that won't be a cause of it. And one of the first questions I asked was, is the water that's being treated at the plant okay? And it is. Yeah, everything's fine through there.
Now, just talk about the impact. I mean, I know the town of Collingwood is just over 20,000 residents, and obviously now it's ski season. I'm sure plenty of people are coming up to Blue Mountain to come skiing and maybe go to Collingwood businesses for food and otherwise, right? So just talk about the impact of this incident happening yesterday and going into a possibly really important weekend.
Yeah, it couldn't have come at a worse time. Really, these are significant weeks for our small businesses, which of course include our restaurants. So I know they've been waiting with bated breath all day to find out if they could open up tonight. And in fact, as we're speaking now, they're all being called to say they can open, the ones downtown. The health unit has just issued, I think, in the last few minutes, a notice that they've severely reduced the area in Collingwood that continues to be subject to the boil water advisory. So there's a map now that's out on social media. It'll get circulated, but it doesn't include our downtown where most of our residents are, and it doesn't include the Legion where there's a lot of events always going on as well. So this is such good news. But I know, I've been talking to small businesses and, they're all worrying, of course.
But also residents, obviously, it's their Saturday. It's really
Yeah.
cold and snowy outside. They want to be able to obviously use the water in the comfort of their homes. Like, just talk about what you've heard from uh, residents that have been impacted.
Well, we got together pretty quickly last night and started having meetings of our emergency management team, and I'm invited to those meetings. So I know that, people were working really hard to make sure that this morning at 10 o'clock, we had two sites in town where free water was being distributed, free bottled water. And Ice River Springs made that water available at no charge to us today. And so I went over to both the arena and the Legion where the water was being handed out and talked to people and helped, with all this. And I have to say, wonderful response from the community. I was apologizing for all this upheaval, and really the most common response was, what can you do? These things happen and it'll be over soon. And I thought, we have a great community. Volunteers were coming out. The gentleman who owns Tim Hortons came by to these outdoor centers and delivered coffee and donuts. And even people coming through who I talked to in the cars. One gentleman said, "Do you need any more volunteers? I can come back." So, and the other joining communities were helping in different ways that they do when these emergencies happen. So, that's sort of the silver lining of it. Yeah.
And just going back to the timing, though, I remember seeing, at least in the update from this morning, I understand you said the health unit has now started reducing the area that's been impacted by the boil water advisory. But
Yeah.
talking about now the timing of this happening on a Friday and perhaps causing delays in terms of testing the samples that were collected, Like, was that the case, or
No.
yeah, like that's
No,
what I
there
want to
was,
know.
I think that, I saw some information out there and it didn't explain it exactly correctly. So in situations like this, the health unit works around the clock doing testing whenever it's needed to be done. And they have been doing that here as well, the Simcoe Muskoka Health Unit. But with this kind of contaminant, once the samples are taken, they have to like cure for 2 days before you can do a good test on it to show really if it's clean or not. So that's why it takes so long. There's a 2 day wait time. So I think to be prudent, when the test started going in really late last night, to say Monday it would be available was sort of, an estimate of, should have all the first test results available, would be probably tomorrow night, but logistically, first thing Monday. But the better news is there's such, most of the town is now out of the boil water advisory. So,
That is definitely good news. But I do have to ask one more bit of a challenging question. So now I've heard some feedback online from residents saying that if there wasn't maybe the ideal communication from the town to them, they got
mhm.
their the reports of the boil water advisory through CTV, through Collingwood Today, and other media outlets, but perhaps not directly from the town. Just what's your response to those possible sentiments?
um, this is the first time we've been able to take advantage of technology to let people know what's going on. And in our area, which is the county of Simcoe, they are the providers of that ready alert system that comes out over the phone. So last night, our staff contacted the county emergency staff who were great. I'm just going to say that. And they got us all set up on that system, and the alert went out as soon as possible. So it went, I know I was in bed already when the alert came out because it woke me up. But the alert did go out last night on for people who have cell phones. I'm stymied as to how we can get out, immediate notice to people who aren't on social media or have cell phones. Um, but I think we did the best we could, always looking for ways to improve for sure.